What's interesting is this is the only time in history, North American history, that a Native American group completely drove a European power off the land to the extent that they did here. That it's a unique experience, and it should be in every American history book. But I have yet to find a single person on my tours that has ever heard this story before, certainly never studied it in school. So I'm Jean. I'm a tour guide here in Santa Fe. I work with a group called Santa Fe Walking Discovery Tours. And this is really a cool site, unique among all the sites of Santa Fe. Most of Santa Fe, you are looking at Spanish history and how it impacted Native Americans. This is the Loretto Inn at Loretto. And they've chosen to just concentrate on Native Americans instead of looking at the Spanish. So it makes it a unique site. So the first thing they did was design their hotel based on Native American architecture as opposed to the Spanish architecture. So what we see here, where Spanish architecture tends to have lots of curves, all sorts of embellishments. If you look at this hotel, you see how simplistic, beautiful straight lines, and that's very typical of the Native Americans. But another thing that they celebrate here that's Native American that you don't see anywhere else, it's a story you don't read about, and yet it's so fantastic. And it's a story of a man named Popé. He was a medicine man back in the late 1600s, excuse me. And he was a very powerful medicine man. And the Spanish at that time were very much wiping out anything that had to do with Native Americanism. They thought everything that they did was pagan. They didn't like their practices. They would destroy their icons. They would go into their villages and raid their villages. They would punish people if they had any kind of Indian icons. And not surprising, medicine men had icons they used in their healing ceremonies. And so they found these amongst Popé, this medicine man. They found these icons amongst his bag of things that he used for his healing ceremonies. And they drug him out into the middle of the Pueblo and just beat the tar out of him. Just to humiliate him, and obviously to just show physical dominance. And this was spread around through the Pueblos to scare the rest of the Pueblos into obeying and doing what they were supposed to do. Popé, not surprising, he developed a real hatred for the Spanish. Now the Spanish were really, in other ways, had a very heavy hand. Things that they committed at that time, we would just call atrocities today. And so there was a lot of resentment of the Spanish. Popé decided he was going to get the Pueblo people of New Mexico, Arizona area to join together and try to throw the Spanish out. He thought if they all joined together, they could throw the Spanish out and reclaim the land for themselves. The problem is that these Pueblos, it's not like the Navajo Nation or the Sioux Nation. Pueblo just describes how they live. So they actually identified with their own Pueblo. They were like little city-states. So someone would be an Acoma Indian, someone would be a San Juan Native American, but they did not join together. They even had different languages in some of the far-flung Pueblos. And so when Popé came up with this idea for them to join together, it simply wasn't part of their culture, and there was no support for that. But he was not to be defeated, and so he continued. As a medicine man, he traveled to these different Pueblos, and so he went and started talking up the idea of them joining together, and he wouldn't stop. He's a very persistent man. What you see behind me is a sculpture that represents Popé. It is not an accurate depiction. We don't know what Popé looked like exactly, and the sculpture that you see is actually a Mohawk Indian, which we know come from the eastern United States. But I still love this sculpture because this artist was said to read the story of this man who was a tremendous strategist. He was also very, very persistent. He was brave. He was visionary. And I feel like that this sculpture captures that type of spirit in this head sculpture. So I really love this sculpture, even though some people will criticize because it's not technically accurate. In any case, Popé finally, after 5 years of trying to get everyone united, got several of the pueblos to decide to join together and come to Santa Fe to overthrow the Spanish. And they did this in 1680. Now, how do you coordinate all these pueblos? Some of the pueblos are over 100 miles away. And how do you coordinate this attack on Santa Fe back in that day? And it was ingenious. Once again, Popé was ingenious in what he came up with. So he made ropes. And there were ropes for the different pueblos, and they all were identical with identical number of knots. We still don't know to this day how many knots there were. There's different reports. But in any case, they all had the exact same number of knots. And he sent a rope to each pueblo with a runner. And the chieftain was to untie the first knot on the next morning after he received his rope. Each chieftain did this until they got to the last knot. And when they untied that last knot on that morning, they were then to send their warriors to Santa Fe. They had instructions to kill every Spaniard along the way. So they killed over 400 Spaniards on the way into town. And they came into town and gathered south of the Santa Fe River. This is important because south of the Santa Fe River was a village of natives from Mexico that came north with the Spanish. And so it was a great place for them to gather because there were no Spaniards there. And it was all the Tlaxcalan Indians from Mexico who lived there. In any case, Popé sent some of his warriors with the Tlaxcalan Indians who were servants up to the governor's palace and up to where the Spanish were located to mingle in with the servants. He actually sent some of them undercover to go out up to the Spanish palace, governor's palace, and spy it out. So instead of just attacking, they went up there, and what they found was there was no water supply up there. Their only water supply was coming from the Santa Fe River, which is where the Native Americans were gathered. And so they plugged up the water pipe that went from the Santa Fe River up there. And the Spanish understood this to be a death sentence. We're in the desert here. Humidity can be 12%. The elevation is 7,000 feet. And so this is a very serious situation. So the Spanish had to fight their way out and headed south. As they moved south, there were a couple of pueblos down there that were friendlier to the Spanish, so they were able to stop there for at least a little while. At the Isleta Pueblo is one of them. But eventually they were driven further south, and it was a terrible, they called it a death march, to northern Mexico near El Paso. And that's where they ended up staying. And they stayed there for 12 years. Now, at the end of that 12 years, the Spanish did come back and retake New Mexico. But that heavy hand where they had enslaved the Indians, they had taken all their food, that heavy, heavy hand was never the same. And during that 12 years, the old Native American ways were able to come back without that pressure from trying to eradicate any pagan things from their practices. And so many historians consider that 12-year period to be absolutely essential to what we see today in the preservation of Native American culture here in this area, because the old ways were able to come back in at that time. Popé tried to maintain this federation As I mentioned to you, the Pueblos really didn't like being underneath an authority. And so it was very difficult to try to hold the Federation together. And during that 12 years, he actually died. The Spanish later, in 1692, they sent up spies and saw that things were kind of in disarray. There was no real unity, and they were able to come back and retake the area. But as I mentioned, they were never able to really stomp out the Native American culture after that, and so we still have it today, and they are able to maintain their ways here. This rebellion was called the 1680 Pueblo Revolt, and there's an actual small paperback book that you can find. I'm sure it's on Amazon, certainly if you contact a bookstore in Santa Fe, and it is called the 1680 Pueblo Revolt. So it's pretty easy to remember, actually. And it will give you these details, give you some of the background.